inches here. I mark 4.5 inches here. Then from this 4.5 inch point, I bring back my back panel. I bring back the back panel. I lay it in this format. First of all, here at this 4.5 inch point, I'm marking slightly upwards 0.25. Then at this 0.25 inch, I lay my back panel in this way. Then I lay it in this format. So I trace this in this way. Now I connect this to this. I connect that to that point in that way. Then this distance, I divide it by 2. I divide it by 2 to get the midpoint. Then from this midpoint, still you remember for the back, we curved outwards by like this. Now this one we are curving it inwards slightly by 0.25 inches. So that means I create this curve in this way, slightly like that. Then next is to work on the chest line. For your information, first of all, we need to determine across the front height. This is across the back. This is across the back. So across the front height, from this line, we are marking upwards. Chest measurements divided by 16. Chest measurement divided by 16. 2.2. So 2.28. So I customize it to 2.5. So I mark here 2.5. Here also I mark 2.5. Then I draw this line. I draw this line like this. So this is our across front height line. Now I come to this point. I come to this chest line of ours. I measure inwards. Chest measurement divided by 4, which is 9.125. So 9.125 is here. What I have here, which is 9.125, I square it to the belly line. 9.125. Also, I square it to the hemline. I mark 9.125. Then I connect this point to this point in this format. Are we together? Then now I come back to this point here. I mark inwards. Chest measurement divided by 48. So chest measurement divided by 48 giving us 0.76. So I just customize it to 0.75. I mark here 0.75. Then I square this distance. I square this distance here to this line in this way. Then now I draw this mini line. I draw a mini line in this format. Then from this position here, I'm marking outwards chest measurement divided by 24. So chest measurement divided by 24 giving us 1.5. So I mark 1.5 inches here. I mark 1.5 inches here. Then now I connect this point with this point in this way. In that way. Then also I connect this point to this point after I connect it to this point in this way. After I connect it to this car, this point in this way. So you can try to give it slightly a curve since we are handling with the back. So you can curve here slightly like this, like that. So we are done with that. Let us work on the chest first. Next is to insert the chest pocket to your blazer. From this point here, we are marking inwards 2 inches. We are marking inwards 2 inches. Then from this 2-inch point, we mark upwards 0.5 inches for the slant. Then from this 0.5-inch point, we are slanting our pocket opening 4 inches. Pocket opening, we slant 4 inches. Then we mark our pocket height 1 inch. Here also we mark pocket height 1 inch. Then now using my ruler, I create the pocket slant in this format. So this is our pocket chest pocket. The next thing is to determine the dart. For this pattern, we are measuring here. Here we are measuring this distance, which is 4 inches. I divide it by 2 to get the midpoint. This is the midpoint. Then this midpoint now we square it through. Then after I draw this line in this way. Then from this line here you mark downwards 2 inches. You mark downwards 2 inches. Then at the chest line you mark that intake of 0.5 inches. This side also 0.5 inches. Then now you connect these points together in this way. In that format. Next is to determine the hip pocket placement. I first come to this line here. I mark downwards 0.5 inches. 0.5 inches. Then from this point, this 0.5 inch, I'm marking upwards full length divided by 3. Our full length is 20. Our full length is 27.5 inches. When I divide it by 3, full length is 27.5 inches. 27.5 inches, I divide it by 3, giving us, from here we are marking from this 0.5 inch point, we mark upwards our coat full length 27 divided by 3, giving us 9 inches. So I mark 9 inches here. I mark 9 inches here. Then I square this, which is now 3 inches. I square it. Like this. And this is our pocket positioning. Then still I prolong these darts. I prolong these darts in this way. I prolong these darts in this way. Then from this dart position, I'm marking pocket opening 1 inch, 0.5 inches. Then the flap, I'm giving it a flap of 2.25. So here, flap 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, flap 2.5. Then I connect this line in this way. So this is our flap. This will be our flap. Pause. Flap. So now, next is we are going to cut this line open. So cutting this line open, we are going to mark here 0.5 inches. Here we mark 0.5 inches. Then we now connect this line to this, to that line. Then now this one ceases to be. This one no longer is our functional line. Then from this line, we mark outwards 0.5. Then from this point still, I mark upwards 5 inches. Then I connect this to this in this way. Connect that to that in that way. Then next is to work on the first button. So here is the position of the first button. Here is the position of the first button. Then from this first button, we are marking to the next button 4 inches. 4 inches to the next button. Then from this position to the next, to the lapel break line, I'm marking 0.5 inches. 0.5 inches. Then I mark 1 inch for button allowance. 1 inch. Here I mark 1 inch for button allowance. Here also I mark 1 inch. Then I connect this in this format. Connect that in that format. Then after connecting it in that format, I come back to this position here. I mark inwards 0.75 inches. 0.75 inches. Then using my ruler, I connect this point to this lapel break point in this way. That way. So now this is the lapel break point. Now I come back to this position here to work on the neck. I come back to this position. I mark neck opening 3 inches. Here I mark 3 inches. That is chest divided by 12. Then from this point I mark chest divided by 12, chest divided by 24, giving me 1.5 inches. Then from this 1.5 inch point I mark slightly 0.25 inches. 0.25 inches. Then using the ruler, I connect this point in this way. In this way. Then also I connect this point to this lapel break point in this format. In that format. Next is to create the lapel opening. The lapel width. From here, I'm marking my lapel width 3 inches. 3 inches. Then I connect it to this point in this way. So we are dealing with a notched collar jacket. So notched collar jacket, I mark here 1.5. 1.5. Then I connect it to this point. Then here I mark here also 1.5. Over here I mark 1.5. 1.5. So this is a collar pick. 1.5, 1.5, like that. So this is our collar line, that format. I know you're lost, but we shall come back after. So now, yes, that is it. So we are done with this. The next thing is to shape this, to shape our coat from the bottom. Shaping the coat from the bottom, first of all, I reshape this line. This line that we moved earlier on, I connect it to this line. In this way. Also, I shift the hemline, the hem allowance line also, I shift it in this format. Then now, these lines, they cease to be part of my working lines. These lines, they cease. So these are my new working lines. So now from this point here, I'm marking diagonally 1.5 inches. From this point, I'm marking diagonally. I only mark 2 inches from this point. I mark diagonally 2 inches. 2 inches. Then here I mark 4.5. Here I mark 4.5 inches. 4.5 inches. Then now using my hand or a ruler, I make sure that I connect to this point. I connect this point. Then here I create this designer. I create this designer. This designer came in this. In this format. So that is our suit. That is our suit, the front panel. Next is to work on the side panel of this of this suit. For the side panel, we first of all give ease allowance to this coat. From this center button line, I mark ease allowance of 3 inches. So this is my 3-inch ease allowance point. Here also 3 inches. For this one also I mark 3 inches ease allowance, 3 inches. So now these are my ease allowance points. Then now I get back the front what? The front panel, the back panel. I get the back panel. I measure this distance from here to here. I exclude seam allowances. So I exclude seam allowance of 0.5 inches. Exclude 0.755 inches. So I measure this distance from here to here. I measure this distance, which is 5.75 inches. I come to this is allowance point. I subtract 5.5 inches. Then I measure continuous hip measurements divided by 2. Hip measurement is 38. I divide it by 2, giving me 19 inches. So here is 19 inches. 19 inches atakani point mana no. Atakani dobane atakana kakana no. Dobane mam aneta kana kakana. Okay, so here is 19 inches. Then now I get this distance, what I have here, which is now 16 inches. I come to the front here. I measure this distance. Etakanani doba kakani ala etakani kere takande. I measure this. Here is my 16 inches. 16 inches. I forgot. This is 5.0. It was 5.1. 5.75. Etakani ano? 5.75. Then I measure continuous hip measurements divided by 2, giving me 19 inches. So here is my 19 inches. I add 1.5 inches for seam allowances. 1.5 inches for seam allowance. So the 1.5 inch seam allowance that we have added, one caters here, then another one caters here, and then another one for the other side. Then now I measure this distance now. Atakana kakani na. I measure this distance